Get ready with me while I tell you guys the story of how living with my best friend ended our friendship. Last summer, I was looking for roommates in the fall when our school term started, and two of my best friends at the time were both looking for roommates too. So we all decided to live together as we had all known each other for about 5 years. Let's call the roommates James and Amy. An important detail for this story is that James and Amy used to be friends before this, but their friendship ended because Amy confessed to James that she had a crush on him. Unfortunately, James did not reciprocate those feelings, so their friendship ended. But when we were talking about rooming together, Amy assured me that those feelings were completely gone as that had happened years earlier, and she basically told me not to worry about it and that the roommate situation would work. So we bit the bullet, we signed the lease, and soon after we all moved in together. This is where it became very apparent that Amy's feelings for James were not gone whatsoever. Amy started becoming a carbon copy of James. She started listening to all the music he listened to. She would constantly ask to borrow his clothes and wear them out. And it was just very clear that she would always side with James anytime we had any debate about anything related to being roommates. James clocked this pretty much immediately after living together, and he basically talked to me because we were pretty good friends, and he told me, hey, like, honestly, she makes me kind of uncomfortable, so I think at some point we're gonna have to have a conversation about this. But right around the time period this was happening, I got an internship offer, which meant that I had to move away for 3 months while Amy and James lived alone together. So I flew down to San Francisco, and for a couple months, Amy and James were living alone in the apartment together. And James was basically constantly texting me while I was away, begging me to come back essentially because he found it very, very awkward to be living alone with Amy, who very clearly had some feelings towards him. While I was living in San Francisco, Amy and James asked me if they could come visit me down in San Francisco and stay in my apartment while they visited the city. Naturally, I agreed, so they came and flew down, and this is where all shit hit the fan. The trip had been going fine until the very last day when I woke up and realized that my phone was not where it was when I had fallen asleep. Amy and I were sharing a bed, and I had gone to sleep with my phone on this side of me, and I woke up with the phone in between Amy and I. Immediately, I could tell something was wrong, but I still had work to do because I was interning, so I just headed to work and didn't think anything of it. I got off work early that day because Amy and James and I had plans to visit Palo Alto after my work. But when I got back, I found that Amy was acting really, really weird and moody, and I was concerned that she fell sick or something because that's literally how it seemed. So I asked her if anything was wrong, and she assured me no, nothing was wrong, and that she just didn't feel like going out to Palo Alto that day. A detail I didn't mention yet is that Amy's ex went to Stanford, and we had plans that day to go to Palo Alto, right? So my theory about why she was acting so moody was that she realized that we might run into her ex, and she was starting to get kind of emotional about it, which I would have completely understood. And I had actually introduced her and her ex, meaning that I had his location on my Find My map, and I thought oh, maybe Amy went through my phone that night, and she found his location on the Find My map so that she could see if he was there. But you can let me know your guys' theories as to what happened at this point and come into part 2 for what actually happened.
When you were a kid, did you ever fake illnesses? Because I did all the time. And one time it went just a little too far. So when I was in 4th grade, I really struggled in school and I really struggled to make friends. One day I just really didn't want to go to school, and I knew my mom wouldn't believe me if I was sick because I fake sick all the time, so I had to really play it up. So like any sane person, I laid on the ground, holding my stomach, sobbing, screaming in pain. But I wasn't. I was fine. I was literally fine. I just didn't want to go to school. My mom obviously starts freaking out, and she says to get in the car, we're going to the ER. Then I start freaking out because I'm making this up. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm really fine. And she's like, no, you're not. So she makes me get in the car, and we start driving to the emergency room for nothing. So we get there, and I get a room pretty much immediately because there wasn't actually a lot of people in there, which is kind of shocking. And I've been to the emergency room a couple times, and this time, it was so quick, so easy. So we're sitting in there waiting for the doctor, and they come in and immediately think it's appendicitis. They're like, does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? And at this point, I'm so embarrassed that I'm like, Yeah, it kind of hurts there because I didn't want them to think I came for nothing. As soon as I say, yeah, that hurts, they start freaking out. They start talking, saying words I don't understand, doctor words, and I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? What is going on? I'm literally fine. So I'm internally freaking out. My mom looks over and she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they say, her appendix is gonna burst. I'm sorry to do this, but part 2.
Story time how my grandma broke me and my first love up. Y'all might be thinking, bitch, how? So I met this dude back my sophomore year, like the beginning of sophomore year. Bro, when I tell you, I saw him. Shit, my saliva got stuck. But I saw him, it was like during a lunch, right? And I had told my friend, I was like, yo, I want him, bro. Give me his Instagram ASAP. So that's what she does. Alright, so boom, she gets the Instagram and he's like, so who's your friend? Boy, my friend was like, that one right there, bro. I'm over there sitting like what the fuck, bro? So then, bro, he literally comes up to me and then we start talking, bro. Literally out the blue, we start talking. He was like, oh, what's your next class or whatever? And I'm like, no, bro. I was just like, oh, I got history with my friend. He's like, I'll walk you. Boom, he walks me, bro. Tell me why the fuck he asked me out. Who in the fuck right mind ask a person out? What? You barely all known me for 5 minutes. Bro, you only known me for 4 fucking minutes. Y'all probably like, bitch, I don't want to hear that bullshit, bro. Okay, I'm gonna skip the part. Fast forward, I said yes, me being delusional as fuck. Couple months have passed, right? So my grandma starts noticing I'm talking to somebody and she's like, ¿Con quién hablas, mija? Typical grandma. So I tell her, oh, nothing. A, we're gonna name this fucker A. And she's like, oh, let me talk to him. And I was like, girl, bye. Like, no. She's like, don't be mean. Like, no, I need to get to know him, you know. You're young and, you know, I need to know who you be hanging around with. So she did. Fast forward a couple more months, she was like, oh, he's a nice guy, you know, like, start bringing him to the house, you know, so we could get to know him better. Bro, literally, I did, and I told him, do not sag, do not sag, do not sag, please. And this one day in particular is where things changed, my grandma's perspective on him. So me and my grandma, being a Mexican as grandma, you know how nosy they are. So literally she has searched him up on Facebook, bro. On fucking Facebook. I didn't even have Facebook. And this one day he comes over to the house and my grandma was like, so mijo, have you tried any drugs or smoked weed? You know, weed. And before, like a couple days before this happened, I had told him, do not trust my grandma. Do not trust my grandma. She may be a sweet old lady, but she'll literally like screw us over if you're too comfortable, you know, if you tell her deepest, darkest secrets. He didn't believe me with his stupid ass. So as soon as my grandma asked him that, he deadass looks at me and looks back at her and is like, yes. But when I tell you, I fucking hit my fucking forehead so hard, I was like, child, I'm disappointed in you, fam. My grandma's face, bro, was like, Gah! And was like, why would you do that, you know, like, blah, blah. So literally from there, like, he was like, oh, like, because I got medicated with it, da, 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 da. You know, Mexican grandmas, as soon as you do any type of pills, drugs, weed, you are no good. So ever since, my grandma never liked him for me. She was just like, oh, break up with him, break up with him, break up with him. And me being delusional as fuck, I was like, no, I'm not gonna break up with him. I'm not gonna break up with him. Like, you can't tell me what to do. Girl, I was only like, what, 15, 16 at the time? Like, don't get me wrong, a mí se me valía verga antes, pero ya no. Ahora sí me importa. So here's where the juicy chisme starts. My grandma literally starts noticing everything started going downhill from there on then. Why, you may ask? Because this guy started putting me in his old habits, like ditching school, all of that bullshit, bro, like doing... Like, he was the one to introducing to me at first, and my grandma wasn't stupid. She was paying attention to what the fuck I was doing. I thought I was slick and smart with it, because one time I was ditching, right, and she had called me, but I didn't answer. I had to walk back to school and answer it. I was like, what happened, mom? What happened? She's like, where are you? I was like, oh, I'm here at this auditorium because I'm taking a test, you know, like auditorium. At this fucking classroom, I mean, my bad. I was like, I'm at this classroom because I'm taking like a test, a state test, you know. She bought it, bro. Or so I thought. This ditching shit and getting high and all that stuff went on for more than 3 months. until he started to change too, not just me. It got to the point where one time me and him have gotten into an argument at the bleachers, right in front of my friends. And you know me, like, I was just trying to like de-escalate the situation. I was like, okay, well, let's not argue in front of people. This man had chips in his hand and dead ass threw it in my face, bro. He grabbed like a chunk of chips and threw it at my face. So then, bro, literally I was left speechless. I was like, what the fuck? So little stuffs like that started happening, you know. And me being a little girl, like, I started getting depressed. I stopped eating. I would cry every single day, bro, until one day my grandma was like, ¿Y por qué chingados lloras? And me being like, es que no. Girl, I was crying for that damn motherfucker. Because, bro, literally it would get to the point where he even shoved me against the wall at school, bro. And the teacher was like, are you guys okay? And I was like, jeez, knowing damn well I was fucking lying. I was not okay, bro. So one day my grandma catches me. She catches me straight up. She's like, I know you've been ditching behind Walmart, da 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 da. And me being a dumbass, I was like, no cierto, no, you're tripping. Like, girl, I was a little desmadre too. Like, I ain't an angel myself. So then she's like, you know what, give me your phone. Here's where shit starts to get the moment y'all been waiting for. So tracas, I give her my fucking phone. I run to my room, girl. I lock myself. I start fucking playing sad music. I didn't give no fucks. Until she came into my room and was like, mija, don't be sad, girl. No. She hit me with the, es que mija, lo que andas haciendo no es bueno. Back then, I was a selfish little brat. Trust me, I look back at it and I'm like, pinche mocosa pendeja. Over for a guy? Over for a pitito? Come on. So literally, she's like, just give me your password, you know, I'll give you your phone back. Me being stupid as fuck, I gave her my fucking password thinking I was gonna get my fucking phone back. Cap, I did not. So I give her the password. She leaves my fucking room and she does not come back at all. I literally wake up the next day. It's a school week. It was a school day, so I had to go to school. I start getting ready all happy as fuck. I'm like, I'm gonna go see my man. I'm gonna go see him. This bitch can't stop me. So, bro, I'm all happy and shit. About to leave to go catch the bus. Bro, when I tell you my grandma opens the door and is like, tú no vas a ir a ningún lado. My heart dropped to my booty hole, bro. Fuck my booty hole. To my fucking toenails, bro. I was just like, what? Why? And she's like, yo ya sé lo que estabas haciendo. Bro, I even got more scared because she looked so serious, bro. I was like, so my grandma found out me and him were doing the coochie coo, and I had missed my period. Fast forward more, we went to Walgreens. She was mad as fuck at Walgreens. She's like, oh my fucking god, you better not be. Yo, abort that shit. And me being delusional, I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it. Like, I wanna evaluate it. Bitch, please. So we get home, I take the test, comes out negative. She gets so mad. She's like, and now you're not gonna go to fucking school for shit. So I deadass don't go to school for like a whole month or two. And then literally like 2 months later, 3 months later, she drops me out, changes my phone number. She took away my phone, bro, and was like, you're not allowed to have any communication with him. And literally, bro, I was so fucking depressed for that. Like, this bitch, she didn't give no fucks, bro. Like, my grandma was like, you're not gonna see him whatsoever. She made sure of that, bro. She moved me to this school, to this alternative. Bro! Okay, back to whatever I was saying. Like, she moved me to this alternative school where I couldn't even leave the damn classroom. I couldn't ditch. Like, it was so strict, bro. And literally, she didn't even give me my phone till like almost towards the end of the year, sophomore year. And I found out he had a girlfriend. And I was just like, damn, like, he really moved on. Like, after what the fuck I went through, like, ese güey lo valió verga. Like, he found himself a new fucking booty. Like, what? What? Bro, and literally last year, he had texted me while I was at Disney World. And he told me he needed somebody, a friend, and me being delusional. I was like, he came back, and all for him to tell me I got a girl pregnant, and and I was like, that ruined my whole fucking Disney trip. For y'all bitches that hate on my fucking blush, fuck you, cause it's not even a lot, bro. And y'all hoes need to stop calling me Mencha Blush or fucking Juju. Please, respectfully, please. Thank you. So there you guys have it. Hope you guys enjoy. Comment below what more story times I should do.
Things my exes did and I still stayed. Number one, he said he wanted to piss on me. I'll let that sink in because what the fuck. Number two, he said the F slur. Me and most of my friends are gay. Like, I'm bi and a lot of my friends are gay. And he's straight. Next, he had absolutely no sheets on his mattress or pillowcase. But the thing was, whenever me and my friends ever mentioned the fact that he had no bed sheets on his bed, or ever like made fun of him for having no bed sheets on your bed, he'd start yelling at us, saying how his mattress was worth $3,000. And because his mattress was $3,000, he didn't actually need bed sheets, and then he would start calling all of us basically broke. Next, he was from North Philly, so that was a red flag in itself. Next, this was like literally just a few days or weeks prior to us getting together, but he would talk about how he was in love with this other girl and how he really liked this one girl from his school, and that the reason he had to stop fucking with her was because she got pregnant. So I guess I was just like the next best option. I really don't know. He found a bug in his drink and continued to drink it. He would text me, "I'm horny," every single time he was. Very, 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 very early into the relationship. Like, what do you want me to do about that? We've been together for a month. Get the fuck out my face with that shit. What the hell? Like, who do you think I am? Like, who do you think I am? Next, he told my friend that he just wanted to date me as a summer fling. Don't worry, guys. I did indeed stand up for myself. I grew a backbone, and I actually broke up with him after just less than a month. So all that happened within the first month. Okay, this is a different one, but he would love bomb the fuck out of me. Like, within the first, like, month or so, like 1 or 2 months of us being together, he would say, like, "I love you." No, you don't. I don't know why our generation has kind of just confused the meaning of what it means to love someone, but you don't love someone after knowing them for, like, under 6 months even. Don't say you love me to me when such a disregardable amount of time has passed in our relationship. That's actually my biggest pet peeve. People that say I love you when they first meet someone. Like, people are like, "Oh my god, you seem so cool, I love you." What? Anyways, he would say that and then get mad when I didn't say back. So I would say it back, but obviously I didn't fucking mean it, because how are you gonna love bomb me? You're not love bombing me, you're just cringing me out. Like, obviously that relationship didn't last long either. Last but not least, and when I broke up with that guy, he told me that he was more upset over the fact that Yeet didn't drop his album. TTYL.
When I was younger, I used to be somewhat of a compulsive liar. I say somewhat. I lied about majority of things. In my defense, I never lied about anything bad. Like, the thing is, I lied about the most pointless things ever that just didn't need to be lied about. I wanted to make my life much more interesting, and best believe I did, at any given point. One that really sticks out to me is when I was 17. Yeah. Literally like 3 years ago. I had ordered Chinese and I had my very own Smithy moment because they just put it all on the table and I was like, babes, no. Give me my salt and pepper chips by myself. Anyway, I had a boyfriend at the time and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they've done this. I'm making them go back to the Chinese and get me another order. Like, posting it on all of my private story being like, oh my god, just made my parents go back to the Chinese and get me my food. In reality, I just went downstairs and put things on my plate. I'm like, Caitlin, why did you lie about that? I don't know. I don't know. Make things worse. Yeah, it doesn't stop there. Came around to my house like a few days later and then we came downstairs in the kitchen and he literally went to my mum and dad, oh my god, haha, I can't believe you have to go back to the Chinese. And they were like, what? I just stood there like, I want the floor to swallow me right now. Literally, I don't want to be here. Just like, why did you lie about that? Like, why did you lie about something so weird? That was my problem. It was never anything important or big or serious. It was just small, like, literally relevant things in my life. I wanted to make them more interesting because my life is a movie. Primary school was the worst for it because when you're a kid, kids believe literally anything you tell them. Primary school, the most annoying thing was everyone's like family was like based in different areas, like different parts of the world and countries and stuff. Mine was all from Manchester. What were they, Caitlin? Were they really? But, well, they have family in America. I'm gonna have family in America. Literally made myself learn like an American accent at such a young age so I could be like, I'm half American. I was so fully committed to being like American, I had to learn a language, not a language, the accent. Sometimes I'd even be telling a story and then I just catch myself lying. I'd be like, why have I just said that? Like, it's accidental, I promise. I mean, it's not lying, it's exaggerating the truth. I think my favourite part as well was whenever I was telling a story that was just a lie and someone would be like, oh yeah, I was there. Or like, I remember that. And I'm like, it never happened. I don't think you did. I just stand there with a little smirk on my face being like, right, caught another one. You're a liar as well. I just find it quite hard to keep up with all the lies that I told though. I sound awful, don't I? It's not lying, it's just making my life more interesting, okay?
It's clear that I'm not white, but my dad's white, so he's gotten into a lot of trouble for having a black daughter. This is him. My dad was a custodian at my middle school, and not all the teachers knew that. My dad and I decided that we were gonna go on a late night walk because we wanted to go to the convenience store, and it so happens that the teachers at my school were having some sort of staff dinner in the same plaza. My dad and I go to the convenience store, and we come out, and I guess the teachers are leaving now. We're walking back home, and we see like a car slow down beside us, and then it like turns all the way over because we're still in the parking lot and like they're on the road. So he drives past us slowly and we make eye contact, and then he like zooms off, but the shock on his face was like, we were like, that was weird, but like whatever. I know for a fact this man went home and couldn't sleep at night thinking, oh my gosh, one of my students is out late at night with the custodian. The next day was a school day and my dad gets called into the office. Right away the principal said like a teacher came to him and they're extremely worried about Destiny. And my dad knew right away what teacher it was and why they were worried. Luckily, the teacher knew my dad, so it wasn't really a big deal. They kind of laughed about it, but this has happened to my dad so much, like in real life, people stopping him and being like, whoa.
Do guys just like not love me the same way girls do? Or does my man just not want me? Cause like I know I'm not prettier, or I know I'm not the prettiest girl in the world, and I know I'm not prettier than Megan Fox. But like, just hear me out. So like when I really like a guy, I'm gonna think they're the hottest person ever. And like I know objectively, like I know my friends don't think he's the hottest person ever. I know like objectively he's probably not the hottest person ever. But in my eyes, like you could name anyone and I'll be like, no, I think my man's like hotter than them or more attractive. And I kind of thought it would be the same way, like the other way around, but I guess it's not. Because like we were on FaceTime last night, and I was talking about how like when I knew him in 7th grade, he would compare me to Megan Fox. He would be like, okay, so if Megan Fox is a 10, you're an 8. Like I remember that exact, like I remember reading that text message. And so I brought it up on FaceTime. I was like, oh yeah, remember when you like used to do that? He was like, oh yeah. And then I forgot, like I genuinely forgot who brought this up. If it was me, that was my bad, but still. But I can't remember who brought this up. But then we started comparing like me to present day me to Megan Fox, like prime Megan Fox. And Transformers specifically. And so we both searched it up, and then I look at her and I'm like, oh, I'm not prettier than her. And then, you know, like a loving boyfriend, I mean, I know he doesn't love me, like we don't obviously love each other, like it's not at that point. We've only been dating for a little, but still, like a nice person would just like not agree or not say it. But he was like, yeah, like you said it, I'm not gonna say the words, but yeah. I got so pissed. I was like, okay, you gotta go to bed, good night. Okay, that sounds so unfair. I'm not saying I'm prettier than Megan Fox, like I know I'm not. And I'm not saying I'm the prettiest girl ever, I'm not asking him to think that. But it's just the way, like, I think he's, like, if you ask me about any guy, I don't even look at guys like that anymore. Like, I used to go around, like, seeing if guys were attractive or not, but I just can't find guys attractive anymore other than him. Like, and, you know, like, I could say, like, a guy's objectively attractive, but, like, there's, like, this sort of, like, this sounds so weird, but there's this, like, veil in front of them where I just, like, don't find them attractive in that way anymore. But I guess it's not the same for guys. And then even his best friend, so I told his best friend in advisory today, and he was like, what the heck, he said that? Like, you're supposed to keep that in your mind, you don't say that out loud. And then we brought it up at lunch because it was funny, and then he was like, haha, that was so funny. And he was like, what do you want me to say, or something like that? I don't know, I was just sitting there like freaking pissed. But again, like, I'm not pissed because he thinks Megan Fox is prettier than me. Like, I know she is. I'm not expecting him to think I'm the prettiest girl ever.
But at least don't say that to me. And also, I just thought you liked me more, but I guess not. But I don't really care anymore. It was just like something to say, or a good story time for y'all, because I genuinely have been thinking about that for the last day straight, but now I'm finally over it. Anywho.